Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video on Supergirl and Superman Lois. So today is going to be big mix-up video. There is an interview I want to go over with Jon Cryer in regards to him reprising his role as Lex Luthor from Supergirl on Superman Lois. Also, we got some questions from you guys and I have a couple of other topics I want to hit. So it's like a mixed video of Superman Lois Season 2 and Supergirl. Since it just ended, we've still got a lot to talk about. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe if you're new so you don't miss any DCTV videos later this year. Okay, so as you guys know, Supergirl is officially over. It ended not this week but the week before. The Flash just came on this week and took its place, but Supergirl is officially gone for good, and obviously it's very bittersweet, it's sad, but we still had a good show and, you know, we can go back and watch those episodes, so that's always good. But since this is the Arrowverse and we're seeing, even in this upcoming Flash crossover, the return of Black Lightning, whose show literally just ended, and we saw Diggle last season on all the different shows, and obviously Arrow isn't around anymore, there is always potential for these Supergirl characters to show up again. So let's talk about Jon Cryer and Lex Luthor, because I think he is one character that will show up again at some point. And so he did an interview and I'm going to read it out. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can go check it out afterwards. But this is what he says, and there is like a couple of quotes. So this is in regards to him and Lex's ending and the way that maybe Lex could come back. So he says, well, I didn't like it at first, and he's referring to the ending here because he says, I want Lex to win. It's the end of the show, Supergirl isn't going to be around anymore. How about Lex just wins? Just give him a bone, he said. Then he goes on to say, but I thought it functions well in a lot of ways because it's genuinely awful and he's a genuinely awful person, but also his love interest Nixley is there with him so he can pursue her and be turned down by her for thousands and thousands of years. Wonderful and awful at the same time. That he would end up shooting himself in the foot in such spectacular fashion is very satisfying. Obviously he's referring to how Lex went into the Phantom Zone in the Supergirl series finale. He says because he is the epitome of self-involvement, he's narcissistic and self-involved and entitled. That is him as an icon. The whole journey of the show has been leading up to that. And then he goes on to talk about him potentially returning in the future and maybe coming back on Superman Lois. Cryer says that he's definitely up for a return and believes that it's totally possible for Lex to eventually escape from his prison, stating he'd be even more motivated by revenge and even more tapped into an even worse group of friends. If anything, the Phantom Zone would make him more dangerous. And I 100% believe what Jon is saying is completely correct. I think the idea of him going into the Phantom Zone isn't a goodbye. I think that's a great way to bring him back because as you saw last season, Supergirl literally escaped the Phantom Zone, Nixley escaped the Phantom Zone, and Zor-El escaped the Phantom Zone, so there's always a possibility that Lex can. And if he's going to show up on any show, and I do think he's going to show up because he is so well beloved in the Arrowverse by fans, and I think the creators really like him, I think he will show up on Superman Lois. And I'm saying this because last season we thought we had another version of Lex in Superman Lois's continuity. However, it turns out that continuity is just normal Earth Prime. It's in the Arrowverse. Diggle shows up and you're going to have lots of other crossovers in the future. But it turned out to be that wasn't the real Lex. That was John Henry Irons. And so this means Jon Cryer's Lex is the official Lex Luthor that Superman, Tyler Hoechlin's Superman, used to fight and take down in the past. So it would make so much sense if he's going to return on any show, he would return on Superman Lois and be like the main villain for one entire season. I'm not saying it's going to be next season because they've started filming that already. Maybe he could have a cameo towards the end of the season, that's always possible if they want him on the show. But something like season 3 could be maybe Lex's return on Superman Lois and to the Arrowverse as a whole. So what do you think about that? I would be very excited about that. But in regards to his ending and the way that he ended on the show, I thought it was a bit lackluster, I have to agree. Although I think it is right and I think it's good for the potential future return of the character. Rather than killing him off, which is very permanent, they put him into the Phantom Zone. As I mentioned before, people can escape from the Phantom Zone. So there's always the possibility that Lex could be lurking around the corner. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. So I have one thing I want to discuss about Superman and Lois Season 2 specifically. So we have the boys, right? You have the teenagers, the sons of Superman and Lois, and last season we saw Jordan developing his powers. At first we thought it was Jonathan because he is the sporty guy, however he hasn't manifested any powers at all, so there is always the possibility, because at the end of the day he is half Kryptonian, that he may develop powers this season. But I'm going to say it's more likely this season they're going to be exploring Jordan as Superboy. I have a strong feeling that Jordan is going to show up in a Superboy costume this season. What do you guys think of that? I think that is definitely what they're building up to, because last season was him developing his powers, but he hasn't become an official superhero yet. And with everything he goes through, especially in the finale, he's definitely ready to take that next level up, and I think that next level up will see Jordan fully getting a superhero costume and becoming Superboy. And I think that is definitely possible in Season 2. I don't think it's going to happen straight away, because they're definitely going to want to set up the season and build towards whatever they want to build towards this season. And I think for Jordan's character, this is the most logical way to advance his superhero persona and his powers. So again, that's just a theory that I wanted to bring up, because I'm pretty sure they're going to be leading towards Superboy this season. Okay, so let's move on to some questions from you guys that you submitted recently. If you want to be featured on a future video, please be sure to send in questions via the community tab, which is on my channel. And just underneath the post that I will put up before this video comes out, you can leave any topics, theories, or questions there that you want answered in future videos. And obviously I pick out the best. I can't pick out all of them, but maybe if you send like a bunch of ideas and they have to be good ones, I will pick them out and you'll be included. Okay, so the first question comes from John Mark Peterson. He says, when Supergirl ends, and this question was sent before but I still think it's relevant, he says, do you think in the other shows moving forward, will they reference Supergirl at any point? Now, this is a very good question, and people have been asking me this, especially as Supergirl is heading to its end, and also past Supergirl ending. Lots of you guys have been commenting this. So I do think that they're going to reference Supergirl, especially if it's Superman and Lois, and I feel like Superman and Lois Season 2 is taking the step up to be more involved in the Arrowverse, rather than Season 1, which was quite contained apart from Diggle. So I feel like that is definitely going to be at some point referenced, because, you know, Superman and Supergirl are cousins, they are family. However, I'm going to say it's more likely to happen on The Flash, and probably when Alex shows up in the crossover, because there is going to have to be some sort of explanation why Supergirl isn't helping out in Armageddon, but Alex is showing up. So I think when Alex shows up in The Flash, that's going to be our first reference to where Supergirl is and why she isn't around. I presume because of the way that she ended the show, with her becoming the editor-in-chief of Catco and not being needed as Supergirl so much around National City, she's just taken a little break from being a hero and she's going to be focusing on Catco. I think that is definitely their excuse going forward. But yeah, I do believe they're going to reference her going forward, although not all the time. And linking into this question and linking into the overall topic of this video, I have this other question from Mr. Curbdog on YouTube, who says, is the door open for Supergirl to show up in Superman and Lois? So I picked this question because I do think it's relevant, because as I mentioned earlier, the door is open for Lex to return on Superman and Lois. So I think 100% Supergirl can show up on Superman and Lois if Melissa ever wants to come back. Said this many times before, don't think it's going to be right now. I think it'll be at least like 2 years down the line. I don't think she's at the same stage as Cress Williams, who returned as Black Lightning pretty much straight away after the show ended, or even Kyla Lee, who stuck around to film The Flash as Alex Danvers. So the door is definitely open. It's just if Melissa is going to grab that handle, and is she going to open it and come in and be a part of Superman and Lois. And at the end of the day, Superman and Lois is a Supergirl spin-off, so she's always going to be welcome. And even like Bitsy Tulloch has referenced the fact that she would love Melissa to return as Supergirl on the show. And I think if they ever do any big Superman and Lois crossovers, there is always the possibility that Melissa could show up as Supergirl. But that about does it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and a comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications if you're new. And you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.
I see red.